Rob and Robbo.
It's the most talked about TV show that's not on TV.
And I think you guys are amazing.
With raw, honest opinions.
This was not a mistake. This was a lie.
Exclusive stories.
Some industry insiders have been talking about this.
Is that a Ben, Rob and Robbo exclusive?
And plenty of famous faces.
I'm not wasting these gold moments on 60 Minutes.
The Ben, Rob and Robbo Show is the new way to stream your news.
This is the stuff that headlines are made of.
Live every Monday to Thursday at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Ticker TV or Facebook and Twitter at BRR Show. Watch live or on demand.
Ben, Rob and Robbo.
Streaming across the globe, Ben Norris, Rob McKnight and David Robinson.
Ben, Rob and Robbo. News, entertainment too. It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
Welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Here's Rob McKnight.
Hello, everybody. Well, guys, Ben and Robbo, there is some breaking news. We have been watching the Channel 7 Upfronts all day. Ben, you have literally been preparing your entertainment report, but they have literally just announced Australian Idol is coming back to television on Channel 7 in 2021.
Wow.
How is that?
Oh, my
Abby,
goodness.
could you put that on the social medias and tell them they can find out all the information on the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show?
Guys,
What do
can
you
I
reckon, guys?
I have to say something, and that is that, does anyone remember 2 weeks ago on TV Black Box, the podcast, I said, why can't they bring back Australian Idol? It would be a massive success. And I even picked the judges. So can I go as far as thinking and telling you who it's going to be?
All right.
I think Ian Dixon's coming back. I think Mark Holden's coming back. I think Marsha Hines will come back. But you know what? I think there'll be a big twist, and we'll probably get either Farnsey or Barnsey. It's a no-brainer.
Now, are you guessing or do you know this? Interesting. Well, this Channel 7, I will say...
Amanda in the background.
Yeah, man, he's guessing.
He's
He's guessing.
What I love is that us three
I love
guys
that one.
usually know what's happening in the TV industry. I did not know about this. We've been saying for years Channel 10 should bring back Australian Idol. I actually just got goosebumps hearing that announcement as 7.
Can I ask you a question though, Robin and Ben? To have The Voice and Australian Idol on the one network in the one, that's kind of a little bit overkill for me,
shows.
isn't it?
They are
Yeah,
different shows,
but they're singing shows.
right.
They're singing shows.
Yeah, but
They're
different
both singing
formats.
shows looking for a singer.
I reckon it will do okay. I think Channel 10 have certainly missed the boat by not doing this. But you know what? We will talk all about that in entertainment a little later on. For now, it is Hump Day, which means we are lucky enough to have a special guest panelist joining us. Today, we're bringing back a bit of a favourite of ours. It's Alana McLean from Ticker TV. Hello,
Alana
Alana.
McLean. Woo!
Yay!
Back with you, and can I just say this Australian Idol news, Ben already knows this, but this is blowing my mind because a bit of a confession, but I was in a Cosima fan club.
Oh, my
Really?
You were? Really?
Awesome.
Tell us more.
And
Wow.
It's embarrassing.
Custom t-shirts made, and this is before mobile phones, but they would send the big pay phone booths around to the shopping centres, and I would encourage people to come over and vote. And then I snuck my way into the after party after the concert, and I thought it was the best night of my life. So there you go. You've all found out a little bit more about
Wow.
one A.
Oh, I
McLean.
like that.
review.
Wow, and
That
Alana,
is amazing.
hairstyles are certainly a big thing on Australian Idol, aren't they?
Oh my God, I just all of it. I cannot wait for it to come back. But I hope they don't go too flashy with it, because remember that just used to be the stage with someone sitting, and sitting down on a step was the only prop they have, not like these full-blown productions. So I hope they keep a little bit of that nostalgic element about it.
Yeah.
But you've
And-
also,
and I
Alana,
say,
you've done your hair.
Alana, hairstyles are a big part of Australian Idol.
Yes, well, I was going to say, when you were talking about which judges were going to come back, I was going to suggest a celebrity judge could be KD Lang, otherwise known as Benjamin Norris, because that's who I've decided Ben is trying to emulate at the moment. A smashingly KD Lang haircut.
Oh my God, it is!
Is that your headshot, Ben? Is that your
That
headshot?
is Ben.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's all right, Alana. I knew you had a gag coming up, and I only tried 3 times to get you into it, but that's fine.
Sorry, I was too excited. I was too excited about Idol. I completely forgot to make fun of Ben's hair. What an oversight.
Well, we cover all the big stories here on the Ben, Rob and Robert Show. Alana, we look forward to your input into today's show. A lot coming up. Bruno's back, and I think it's going to get wild. But first of all, serious allegations have been levelled against Australian Special Forces by United States Marine Corps. According to the ABC investigation, he was a door gunner providing aerial covering fire for the Australian soldiers of the 2nd Commando Regiment during a night raid in mid-2012. It's alleged the Australian Special Forces radioed the US aircraft to pick them up and about 7 prisoners. The Australians were told there was only room for 6 of the prisoners.
And you just heard a silence, and then we heard a pop, and then they said, okay, we have 6 prisoners. And so it was pretty apparent to everybody involved in that mission that they had just killed a prisoner, that we had just watched them like catching hog ties, so they were like tied up with zip ties.
Robbo, this is a pretty serious allegation. They're saying that these Australian Special Forces killed a prisoner because they didn't have room for them in the aircraft.
Yeah, it's really bad, and we've seen about the Afghan files, obviously, that have been very, infamous, really, a part of Australian media, especially when the AFP stormed the ABC and also that News Corp journalist. This is really rotten stuff, and I'm just glad that this investigation continues to bring, these kind of cases to light. These people need to be held accountable. Now, there are rules of war, obviously, but and sometimes I've never been there, obviously, but sometimes there can be, something where it's a split-second decision. Maybe it wasn't the best one. This was not. This was callous. It was disgusting. It was awful. And I really hope that whoever perpetrated this, is met with the full force of the law. This is disgusting.
Alana, diggers of the past have always prided themselves on how they behave during wartime and, the rules of war. If the Australians are guilty of this, it basically destroys their legacy in a way, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, I was shocked, to be honest, when I read this story and obviously heard those comments, as I'm sure many of us would be, because I think war is a weird one in that I guess we all know what's going on and we all say we're thankful for the troops and we, take a moment to reflect, I guess, on Anzac Day and important occasions like that. But when you hear those stories that are so ruthless and you think, is there more of this going on than we know? It's really brave, I think, of him to come forward and share that story, and certainly to echo Robbo's points, the investigation, absolutely crucial here in getting to the bottom of this. And I think, potentially opening up a broader conversation if there's other cases like this that are certainly happening out there without our knowledge.
Ben, do you have any sympathy for the Australian Special Forces? They're in Afghanistan. They are under extreme pressure. They're literally going to miss out on a flight. I'm not condoning any killing here. The guy was bound, he was not going anywhere. He was literally bound. But I don't know. I haven't been in war. Does life become a currency? Does it become something you can throw away?
Absolutely not. We can't go down that path of believing that. I think that in this horrific situation and in the horrific situations of war, obviously they're under extreme situations. But I would like to bring up something else that I think needs to come to light. And that is that, we're in a different age. And so the medium of Zooming and podcasting and being able to use your voice more freely and more accessible to people, accusations like this are extremely damning. And there isn't as many things in a line before someone comes out with an accusation. And I'm not saying that this man's lying at all, but I do want to highlight that we are at an age where people can say whatever they want without there being...
Different. This is ABC investigations. They, I would not be surprised if this guy's had to sign a stat deck. I don't know if that's the case, but we're talking, this isn't just a week-long investigation by the ABC. This is an ongoing investigation. The guy is so worried about his identity. He's asked for his name to be changed, but he is happy to show his face and say these lines to camera. the ABC do a very thorough investigation. Now, of course, it's not for the ABC to decide guilt. That comes down to a court of law. But this is how it becomes an investigation. And there certainly are investigations going on at the moment about Australians, the Australian soldiers and their behaviour in these situations. So it's not without merit.
Yeah, I just want to highlight the accountability of that. You know, and obviously there are different processes, but you know, we are in a day and age where I think we need to make sure people are made accountable. So that was just something I wanted to highlight.
I appreciate that. And look, before we move on to our next topic, I was listening to the announcement from Channel 7 while we were literally coming on air and the opener was rolling. Australian Idol will be going to air in 2022, not 2021, just for that clarification. All right. An Australian serial killer currently in prison wants the taxpayer to pay for his sex change. Reginald Tex Arthur admitted to killing 3 people, but is believed that he murdered more. It's believed he murdered more. He was sentenced to a maximum of 27 years after his 3rd murder conviction and could be out on parole as early as this week. Under current laws, once he's released, he will need to go get a referral from a doctor, and most of the procedure will be covered under Medicare. Ben, I've got to say I have a major problem with the amount of time he's done. You know, a serial killer being released on parole is an issue for me. But if he's free and he's part of society, then surely he's allowed to take advantage of the funds and Medicare and all those things we have as part of a society.
Yeah, I think that this is horrific. Like, this is one of those topics where you just think, oh God, what do you say? But at the end of the day, you know, gender reassignment and gender correction is really important. And I think if this person has done their time and they are back in the system, then, you know, I feel really opposed to what everyone else is going to say. And I'm also going to highlight something that brought me to that situation, which might seem a little strange to everyone. But just recently on the TV series Wentworth, they covered a very similar story about criminals after gender and sexual reassignment and the difficulties and how it's not accessible to everybody. But also it highlighted mental health issues behind people. So I just want to say there's a backstory behind things more than just the headlines we read. When we read a headline about a serial killer, you know, being after government money for something to fix and improve his life, it is absolutely challenging because you want to say no, and you want to say no on behalf of the families that lost their family members. You want to hold that criminal accountable. You want to take everything away. But I just want to also go that extra step and look just that little bit further and just be like, I genuinely think we have to then...
Who's to say that the issues this man was going through didn't end up leading him down that path, you know, like, because he couldn't be the person he wanted to be. And, you know, that's led to confusion and mental health issues. I don't think he should be allowed out of prison, and he's eligible for parole. Doesn't mean he will be allowed out. But once you're integrating back into society, Ilana, I do feel that you should be entitled to the services that we provide.
I guess, but I guess I'm with you. I think it just shines a light on the massive loopholes that potentially are there when you start thinking about a serial killer that's killed 3 people, A, getting out, you know, being eligible for parole, B, potentially getting out, C, actually accessing these services. And okay, I understand that there might be some mental health, situation there that needs to be, you know, obviously therapy or whatever, but to go as far as getting a sex change potentially for that reason of anonymity and just making yourself back at home in society when you could still literally be a threat to society, whether you are a man or a woman, I mean, none of it sits well with me, to be honest.
Very complicated issue. Well, just hours after it was announced that up to 500 people could attend the Cox Plate races in Melbourne this weekend, the decision has been reversed after a social media backlash. With Victorians still under strict stay-at-home directions and at-home gatherings for the AFL Grand Final banned, it wasn't long before the double standards were pointed out. The Racing Minister, Martin Puckler, has said the decision to allow some owners on course for the 100th Cox Plate was motivated only by respect for the occasion and a desire to mark a small step on the path to reopening. It was a mistake given that other restrictions remain in place, and we've heard the community feedback. Robbo, do you think... I'm a bit confused here, and we will let the Melburnians speak in a moment. Everybody wants things to reopen. And the moment they start saying, OK, we're going to allow this event to reopen, there's a backlash because it's not the right thing that they want to reopen. And all the medical advice, Dan Andrews in his press conference today said, well, the medical advice was that it could go ahead. It's an open area. Social distancing was not going to be a problem. Why are we making policy via social media?
Because that's the way the world is now, Rob. I'm sorry, I've got the paps. I don't know if you can hear the chopper, but the paps are once again over my head. I'm just trying to work, guys. Yeah. No, I'm just trying to work. Sorry about that. Catch that photo in the Women's Day next week. Yes, of course, social media does shape politics, whether we like it or not. In a way, it's kind of good, I think, in helping to shape those kind of ideas. Now, I think it's more than just the medical advice that it could go ahead with 500 people. It's open air. Who cares? The majority of people in Victoria and especially in Melbourne are in harsh lockdown. So what are we going to see? These wankers with their stupid hats and big ties going to the races? No. You can't have one rule for, some people or the elite and another rule for everyone else.
Well, the races aren't just for the elite. Anyone can go.
No, I'll tell you that right now. I know that because if you go there, there's a lot of trash there too. Tara cash everywhere. People wearing their Tara cash suits.
Every year I look forward to the articles on news websites where people are drunk and, legs everywhere. Alana, what do you think here? I was trying to find a nice way to put it. Alana, what do you think here? Has the government made a bad call flip-flopping just because of the backlash?
Well, nobody likes the races more than me. Ben will be able to tell you this. And so I understand, that decision was made. But I think when you've only got 10 people being allowed to go to funerals, you've only got 10 people from two households being allowed to mix at a picnic, we've been under lockdown for such a strict amount of time. I think that's where there just has to be some consistency, and it needs, that decision wasn't a good look. But I think to the broader issue is how can this stuff how can you not have a little bit of a round table and just hash this out before you put it out there? To have to reverse a decision 3 hours after you've made it. And I think it was the same when we were talking about, the hospitality industry reopening, particularly in regional Victoria, they were given like 24 hours notice. How do you not call
I'll tell
the
you
president?
How this happens. They're in a room strategizing, saying we can do this. Oh, the punters are going to love this. We're going to be heroes. Everyone's calling for things to be reopened. They could not have foreseen that people would go against this because Melbourne's a sporting town, isn't it, Ben? And, they would have assumed everybody would love this, getting back into the sport.
We all want that. We all want to get back to the I'm not even a sports person, and I want to get back to the sport. Sport is vital, and these events are vital, and what they do for the economy is vital. But, I have to go back to something that Alana just said then, and how are they pulling this around and making a clear decision? And also, how are they not sort of allowing us to process this better by doing something like, Daniel Andrews saying, or Morrison saying, some events are going to get opened before we see something like this. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if we were framed better, then people wouldn't have such a big problem. But the one thing you can't do, and this is what I've learned in life, is treat one person different to another. So you can't treat a sporting event different to another. So you've got to make decisions clear. You've got to frame it better. And hopefully we won't be talking about this in 2021 or 2022. We'll be able to be at these events.
I totally agree with Ben. This is classic out-of-touch politicians. Rob, you were saying that it's a sporting town and people want to go there. There cannot be one rule for one and another rule for the other. So how did they not think that the majority of the population wouldn't be a bit miffed? The fact that 500, however they will be chosen or whatever, 500 people could go and have a fun social day, drinking, being with people, and that they wouldn't think that the other, millions of people would be like, oh, that's fine. Yeah, off you shoot. It's so out of touch. It's so elitist. It is absolute rubbish.
Yeah, exactly right.
Fair enough,
I think that's
David.
right. And it's what's interesting, Robbo, about that is I've got friends that are actors, and the one thing from hanging around them I hear all the time is the importance of framing, you know, producers, directors, and people framing them to get them into these roles. And it's so funny because it does kind of translate as well to, you know, the way in which we need things to be processed, even on a government level. All people need to have proper framing. We need to be allowed to process things, and there needs to be fair play. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
But also,
couldn't agree more.
In terms of how long we've been going through this lockdown, the Cox Plate has been on the calendar for ages. Not saying, obviously, we've been working week to week with a lot of the restrictions and the roadmap and stuff. But it's not like that's just popped up on the calendar and we'll just announce it. Like, they've had plenty of time to work these plans through. And I think, you know, to your point, Ben, around the framing, maybe test this theory out with a few people that aren't in that sort of sporting community or aren't just sitting around the political table and be like, hey, guys, what would you think? I just wonder, what's going on with these conversations? And it's the same with opening up hospitality. When they gave regional Victoria the pubs only 24 hours notice, and you think you have to regas fridges, order stock. There's so much that goes into opening a pub. How can someone not make a phone call to be like, hey, how long would you guys need? It doesn't make sense with how long we've been going through this that strategic plans can't be made.
Agreed.
When the decision's made to allow opening, you don't have to open, but of course you want to, and everyone's crying
But then
out
you
for
look
opening.
bad. Why should the pub look bad to their customers? Because, sorry, we didn't order enough steaks. We didn't know we were going to be open. It just, like, come on, guys, work together. If we're all in it together, like, use your noggin.
Fair enough. Well, look, while we don't condone trolling here at the Ben, Rob and Robbo show, sometimes people need to be humorously called out, and you can always count on social media for that. Schleiser has collated some of the most... Schleiser? Is that it, Robbo?
I don't know, but I enjoyed that. I don't know what that is, but I love it. I love seeing you say Schleiser.
Do you know who?
Go on.
You know who also enjoyed it was Abby, and I'm assuming it's Abby's dad that I can see in this little monitor down below. They're laughing.
G'day, Stephen.
And everyone's laughing. Hi, Stephen.
Schliza. It must be some website, but Schleiser. Schleiser.
It sure is, Grandpa. That's where we get it from. It's from a website, Grandpa. Yeah. Keep going, buddy.
Someone help him.
Schleiser has collated some of the most brutal burns out there. In fact, look at this lady. She posted a selfie with the angry caption, "I'm not an effing taxi service. If you want a lift, I expect money." To which someone commented, "That would make you a taxi service." And then there's this one from someone who posted the status, "It makes my heart smile when two ugly people fall in love." Someone replied, "Who's the lucky guy?" And this one serves as a reminder to always check the reflection, as this guy claimed to be stuck in traffic. But upon closer inspection, you can see there's no traffic there. And who could forget when a YouTuber pretended to smuggle himself onto a plane in a suitcase, but Tiger were pretty quick to point out a flaw in his story. But definitely a few inconsistent, namely the fact we have footage of you boarding the plane.
Yeah, I remember that. That's good.
Robbo, have you ever been on the receiving end of a good burn? Oh, we could have phrased that better.
It depends on what you consider a burn. Sometimes, you know, you've got to get penicillin for that, and that clears that right bloody up. I'll tell you that for free. One thing, though, back on that guy who was taking the photo and you could see he wasn't in traffic, there were a couple of times, here, it's confession time now, where I'd be late for work. So what I would do to you is I'd call you, but I would get traffic noise on YouTube and then make the call with that in the background as a sound effect. Like, Rob, I'm so sorry. I'm stuck in traffic.
I ever fell for it, Robbo?
Of course you would have, because there was traffic noise, right?
Robbo, you were so late so often, I didn't care about your excuses. Even if it was true, I would have thought, bloody Robbo, late again.
I find it hard to get up in the morning. Anyway, move on. How about you, Alana?
Oh, look, I think we can all agree that I've confessed enough after saying that I wore a Cosima T-shirt and got people to vote for the Australian Open.
She burned herself. She burned herself.
Certainly
Over to you, Ben.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say pretty much every day I get burnt or I get the burn from my partner. And that's because, and you think I'd learn, I often tell little white lies about things like, you know, oh, I'm this away at the supermarket or, you know, just random. He never believes me and he calls me out for it every time. You'd think at the age of 40 I'd know better.
Which part of you does he burn, Ben? Just so we can let the audience.
Doesn't matter. We heard.
Okay.
I think we should move on.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Although, can I just say, on social media yesterday, what did I get called? Not ranting, but it was something like...
It's on brand.
Ben, sorry?
Not badgering. Not the badger. Is the badger back? I think he was badgering yesterday.
I wasn't badgering.
I think that you took that the wrong way. There was someone tweeted you yesterday and said something about, how you go on your ranting Rob moments or whatever. And I thought it was actually them having, a bit of fun with you. They were just saying they like it, weren't they? I read the wrong tweet.
Somehow I don't think so.
He's having a moment.
Just had the unfortunate experience of listening to an unhinged Rob McKnight ranting about... So not only am I unhinged, I was ranting as well. This is on the TV Black Box podcast. So, probably true.
Yeah.
To be fair, you both ranted it. Press the stand button.
It's not my fault. I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get back up after having the wind knocked out of me by my supposed friends. Thank you very much.
But I'm just letting you know, can I just say that TV Black Box podcast, it was both of you. You both were ranting at each other. And what a great segue. If you'd like to check the TV Black Box podcast, you can head to iTunes and...
it sounds great, Ben. You've really talked it up. Hey, look, reality TV can be the hard truth some people just aren't ready to face. Who is pulling out the victim card on SAS? It's time for entertainment. Benjamin Norris, tell me who's complaining about the editing.
Robbo, were you laughing? Did you snigger so loud that we sound like your pants were tearing?
Yeah, sorry, I snorted because he's got so much excitement, and I love it when he gets excited like this. And he yelled at you. So, what's in entertainment now, Benny?
I was given some vibe, baby.
No, I like it. I didn't say it was bad. Please don't shimmy on a Wednesday.
Abby's dad walked out.
Excited.
He's left.
Oh.
Can I also say, I didn't realise that our special guest today was Rove McManus. Remember, he used to yell at people when he would host the show Rove Live.
Yeah.
He'd always be yelling. I know you're a comedian, you're used to yelling at an audience, but we're at home. We can hear you normally.
I honestly thought I was building up Ben's segment with
I liked it.
Enthusiasm.
Oh my God, we've all got to move on. I liked it. Ben,
Alana,
Bring out the badgering clip, Amanda.
Bring out the badger.
Yes. Oh, the badger's back.
I don't know about the badgering clip.
It's legendary. Every time. It is legendary. Hey, Alana, can you help me? Alana, can you help me out with something? Are you watching SAS Australia? Just by any chance?
I haven't watched it yet. I feel like I'm behind. I need to binge it. I haven't watched it. Apparently, it's amazing. Are you enjoying it?
It is really good. But how do you say the guy's name that was in The Golden Mile and in House Husbands? Is it
Faraz?
How do you say his name?
Faraz.
Faraz has accused Channel 7 of editing him as the villain, despite his antics causing 2 of his team members to quit. We've got some footage right now. Check it out.
Number 11, come and stand here. Look at your team. It's not about you. Do not be that selfish prick.
Well, they all are,
I would say, can I just quickly throw something out there? I'm really enjoying the SAS Australia, but is anyone shocked by the language? The language is out of control. Are people watching this with their families? They dropped the F-bomb. He's called him a prick, which I'm like...
They censor that on the... You must be watching 7 Catch Up where it's uncensored. On the broadcast version, they censor those words.
Oh, because I was just really quite shocked, but I kind of want to jump to his defense in one way, but then I'm also going to come to the bus. I would say if you're watching the editing of the show, you can quite clearly tell that they're kind of sort of, he's a little bit difficult, so they're highlighting that. But then he's been on social media coming out and saying, I knew it, I've got the villain edit. And, look, at the end of the day, I still think when it comes to editing, actually, Rob, do we have the other clip of him on social media? I uploaded it, but didn't put it in the rundown. Oh, yeah, we've got it. Play this. This is him on social media last night. This is really loose. Thanks, Robbo.
Ben. Amanda's got your back.
Okay, play clip.
Look, I knew it. I knew they're going to make me into the villain. There has to be a villain, ladies and gentlemen. There has to be a villain. And lo and behold, right here, this is it. This is it.
He's had a few drinks, to be honest with you. But,
That
you know,
arrogance
he's
is exactly why he is the villain on this show. This is the biggest load of BS. He is an idiot, and he has been exposed as one. He is on that show. He's laughing when he's meant to be under military-style training, and he's not taking it seriously. He's an arrogant. He leaves his fellow competitors behind when he was told to stay in teams, and he goes down and just leaves them. Oh, you're on a landmine? I don't care. You know, like, the simple fact is he thinks about himself. His actions have caused two people to actually leave the show, and he is nothing but arrogant and just deserves everything he gets. He's not getting the villain edit. He's getting the truthful edit.
Okay, well, I think, you know, did you audition to be the drill sergeant on that show? Because, you know, that seems like your audition. I just want to quickly say something, and this is something we've highlighted before when it comes to reality television. People have a really strong disconnect from who they are compared to other people, who they think they are versus how the public sees them. And I will say, I actually sat next to him at the Arias one year, and he was so rude, and I was so excited, and we were both there for Channel 9, and I was so excited to sit there and that he was from House Husbands. I mean, granted, I thought it was his son sitting next to me because he was so short, but I was trying to be friends with him the whole way through the Arias.
Are you short-shaming him?
He would... yeah, he changed me, so I thought I'd shortchange him back by calling him out for his height. But let me tell you, I was so excited because I loved the TV show House Husbands, and he wouldn't give me a bar of it. Robbo, can you please save me here? Are you watching SAS Australia?
Yeah, it's a fantastic program. I've always loved South Australia,
That's a no.
and I think that's why.
That's a no.
No, okay.
Ben,
That's a no.
You have literally just backed up my argument. You took the piss out of me and then completely backed up what I was saying.
Yeah, I really did. And it was really fun.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone is entertained. And that's my entertainment till later.
And when you come up a little later, you will be covering Seven's Upfronts, of course. And there is some other big news in the entertainment world that we will be sharing with you. Make sure you stick around. It's about coming up at about 10 to the hour. All right, time for Robbo.
Robert, thank you very much. It's time to take a look at what's happened on this wonderful day, October 21st, throughout history. And first up, we're going to my favourite ivory tickler, and that is Elton John. It was on this day in 1975 that he received his star on the Hollywood Boulevard Walk of Fame. Arriving in a golf cart with hundreds of screaming fans lining the streets, Elton became the 1,662nd entertainer to receive a star.
And did you know, Robbo,
And in 2005,
the celebrity has to pay
yes,
for them themselves. You don't just get it, you
They-
actually have to pay for it.
They do, but Rob, I was about to do an intro there, so if you could not butt in with the, you know, with what you're doing
There was
there,
a huge
because we
gap
all get
and
in
I
trouble for
jumped in.
doing
There
that.
was plenty of time, you just decided to ignore me.
And in 2005, images were taken of a new dwarf planet in our solar system, Eris, named after the Greek goddess of strife and discord. It is 14 billion kilometres away from the sun and takes 557 Earth years to complete one orbit. And finally, can you believe that it was only 1 year ago today when major Australian newspapers blanked out their front pages in protest against press restrictions, taking aim at national security laws after raids on journalists? Back to you, Rob.
I'm allowed to speak? Okay.
Oh, no. I'm going to
It's
remember
been
that
11
for next
years
time.
since our next guest blew us away on Australia's Got Talent with his incredible voice. Mark Vincent has become a household name in Australian classical music, and he's preparing for a big Christmas concert later this year. Mark, I love a bit of Christmas. Welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I love Christmas myself, especially now being a dad. It gives it a whole new meaning for me. So it's great.
That's certainly true. You've announced a very special one-night-only Christmas show. What can fans like myself expect? I hope you're bringing out the classics.
I am. Look, I have to say, finally, after all this time, after 7 months of not being able to perform live, I get to finally launch my Christmas show. I never thought, to be honest, that this would be possible this year with everything that's happened with COVID. But the response has been incredible. Like, we've already sold pretty much 50% of the room
Oh,
on
wow.
the pre-sale through Ticketmaster. So it just shows you that people are busting to get out of their homes, see a show and get back to the normal. And for me, being a performer, it's no better thrill than knowing I'm going to be on stage very soon with my musicians, because as I've said, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time now. And it's just great to see that the confidence is out there, and then I'm doing a Christmas show. It's fantastic.
I love it.
You know, Mark, I just was going to say, I think that you're incredibly dynamic. I think, you can go onto these radio or TV shows and they can only give you so much. And you've really been a survivor and continued to be in the forefront. Has that been exceptionally hard during COVID?
Oh, absolutely. Because I think at a time like this, you would agree, living in Melbourne especially, you kind of doubt yourself. You get in this kind of negativity headspace of thinking, will the normal ever happen? Will I ever perform again? Will I ever, do the things that I love to do, like we were doing, last year? But I guess it all depends on who you're surrounded with and being around the right people to give you that confidence to better yourself and go through those hard times. Like, I mean to say, it's been 11 years since I was on Australia's Got Talent. It's never been an easy journey. But I've been lucky enough, I've had my family's support, I have an amazing wife, and it's so much more than just success. I think it's passion. I think it's, having enthusiasm to do what you love. And I've been blessed that I've had that in my life so far.
So, Mark, you were 15 when you auditioned for Australia's Got Talent. You just talked about your support and your passion there. What else do you think it is that's helped your career stay the long course?
Hard work. It's funny, people say to me, I think it's on some sort of special formula. Like, Mark, how do you stay in the industry for 11 years? How do you, keep selling records and doing shows and so forth? And I guess the only thing, it's quite simple, is working hard and wanting to better yourself. Like, I'm very lucky enough that I come from a family, with my Italian heritage, that they're very hard workers. So when they came to this country, all they knew was work, 7 days a week, morning and night. And it doesn't matter what profession you do, if you give it that recipe of hard work, there's no reason why you can't succeed. And obviously, look, there are other things as well, in the essence of being around the right people, bettering yourself as an artist, as I said. And the most important thing is to have the passion. I think, being in show business, there's no other business like it. I don't care what anyone says. And I think if you have the belief and trust your own instincts, anything can be possible. I'm not sure if you would agree, but that's something I swear by.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And particularly at 15 years of age, but even now at 27, classical music is not typically, what a 27-year-old is listening to. I'd love to know, where does this passion come from?
Well, look, many people know the story. I always listened to classical music since I was 8 years old. And the playlist was always Andrea Bocelli, Mario Lanza, and Luciano Pavarotti, because I grew up in my grandfather's Italian restaurant. So people would come in and we'd play that music all the time. And I think with muscle memory and listening to that classical music all the time, it's been a part of me. And when I would go to school, for example, kids would be playing Eminem or, people like Beyonce or so forth, and I was listening to Andrea Bocelli. That was my passion. I used to be judged for it because it was something unusual, thinking, why is a young person like Mark, listening to classical music? But the great part about it is, it's been 11 years, as I said, since the show. And as I'm doing my live performances, I'm starting to see a lot of people my age coming to the show, because what I'm trying to do is prolong classical music for the next, hopefully, 100 years. So it's respected for what it deserves to be, especially in this country.
Well, tickets to Mark Vincent's show, All My Love at Christmas, are on sale right now through Ticketmaster, and you're 50% sold. After this interview, I expect it to be 100% sold, Ben, Rob and Robbo viewers, because it is going to be fabulous. Make sure you grab your tickets quickly. Mark, you are a bloody legend, and I hope you come back on the show. You're a really nice guy. Thanks for being on the Ben, Rob and Robbo show.
Guys, thank you so much for having me on. And look, hopefully when all this craziness is over, I can grab you and give you a big bear hug. Because I'm not allowed to touch anyone at the moment. It's a bit crazy. It's elbows or feet, I don't know. But anyway, keep safe and thanks for having me on.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mark.
Sounds amazing.
Bye.
It's the random life shot of the day. Where are you going today? You'll never know where you'll end up with the random life shot of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can tell you where we're going to end up, and that is in Toronto, Canada. Toronto is the capital city of Ontario, and it's the 5th largest city in North America. They have over 8,000 restaurants and 35,000 hotel rooms. Canadians can expect rain and a top of 12 degrees and a low of 8 degrees. Beautiful shot there. Let's get to some feedback on this Wednesday on the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Jamie says, Alana, welcome back. Today's going to be a great show, and it has been. She hasn't disappointed. She is a beautiful woman. Ryan says, 2022, so far away, though. Love Australian Idol. Favourite reality show behind Big Brother. We're talking about the big announcement from Channel 7 today. It says that Australian Idol will be back on our screens. Mary says, oh, Ben, you have so much compassion. Beautiful. Well, that's true. That can apply to anything because Ben is just a beautiful little fella. Jamie says, even if crowds were allowed, I would still be staying away from any large gatherings. Jamie playing it safe there. Big fan of workplace health and safety is. Terry says, good to hear from Terry. Love you, Terry. Love the lack of support from your mates there, Rob.
Tell me about it.
He's used to it. He's used to it. Glenn says, unhinged and ranting. Wear it as a badge of honour. No, he does. There's no need to encourage him. He
Thanks,
loves
Glenn.
it.
Don't promote him.
And says, don't be a prick. Simples. I think that's also directed at Rob.
No,
Not
that's
too sure.
reality TV.
I know. It's about the SAS show on Channel 7. A little bit of language there. Glenn says Roxy Jacenko getting a smacking from Candace was good telly. And hasn't she milked it if you've seen any of the Daily Mail or anything like that? Plus one more. Benjamin Norris to host Australian Idol in 2021. Ben, are you available?
100%.
Love
free
that.
all year.
Love that. Very excited. Remember to share your feedback on our socials at BRR Show. Rob?
Well, one dose of Bruno Boucher a week just isn't enough, and we're bringing him back. Yesterday, he talked about a controversial segment about the pronunciation of Passiona, or Passiona as it's now known. But today, we're talking something completely different, and I have no idea what it is. Bruno Boucher, God, we love having you on this show.
Oh, good afternoon, guys. A double Boucher dose. Oh, man, that really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
No, we get more Boucher for our buck.
Guys, yes. Can I tell you, the reason I'm dressed like this, no, I'm not going to court on those charges that of a sexy misunderstanding. Nothing to do with that. I've developed a game which I think is going to be the next big TV quiz game, and it's called the Mug Shot Guessing Game.
He's got logos. I love it.
So, guys, the game is very straightforward. I'm going to show you 2 mug shots. I'm then going to read you the crime that one of them committed. You guys have to guess which one of the crims did the crime. It's very straightforward. We're going to be doing over 5 rounds. And I think what will make you guys very good at this game is all your prejudices, all the stereotypes that you believe in, you're going to have to use those to figure out who the criminal is. Am I right, guys? It's a very 2020 game.
And Bruno, not that I'm competitive, but I will keep score for us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, guys, should we commence with round number 1? It's Matthew versus Jeremy. Matthew versus Jeremy. Now, let me give you the clues. I was arrested after going on Facebook Live and reading out a list of people I was going to kill. My live stream reached 1,000 views before I was arrested. I was charged with making terrorist threats and sentenced to 7 years in a federal prison. Who am I?
It's Jeremy. It's Jeremy.
Lock in Jeremy. Gentlemen, what do we think it is?
I'm going Matthew.
We've got Jeremy, we've got a Matthew. Okay, 2 Matthews and a Jeremy. The correct answer is it's Jeremy that did it, that big silly Billy. As for Matthew, he's a good boy. All that Matthew did, he broke into a supermarket cold room and he was arrested for trespassing. Poor Matthew. Guys, round number 2. We've got Wade versus David. Wade up against David. Now listen closely, guys. I was arrested for domestic battery after throwing a cookie at my partner's forehead. The arrest report states that, quote, the defendant admitted to throwing the cookie at the victim without her consent. Ooh. This is the 8th time I've been arrested in 7 years. Who am I? Am I Wade or am I David? Gentlemen, let's get talking.
I think you're David.
I'm going to go Wade.
With fear of being on the losing team with Robbo again, I'm going to go Wade, and I'll tell you why, Bruno. Because David has a cut in his head. So whatever David did, there had to be some retaliation towards him, and if he had only thrown a cookie...
Just choose a name. It's not the end closing of his trial.
This is the type of thinking that we encourage here on the Mugshot Guessing Game.
Thank you, Bruno.
Guys, I'm about to reveal the answer. The person that threw the cookie at their partner's head and got arrested for it is Wade.
Yeah.
And guys, our friend David headbutted a police officer after being pulled over for speeding. David.
Hence, David Robinson. Hence the blood on his forehead.
Guys, we're about to enter round number 3, but how are we enjoying the mugshot guessing game? How are we going?
Love it.
We're loving it. Very good. Well, listen, you're going to have to listen very, very closely because we've got Crystal against Charlene. Oh, it's the ladies.
Okay.
Listen closely.
I
was arrested for walking into a 7-Eleven and telling the staff that I had a bomb and that I was going to blow the place up. I placed a paper bag on the counter with bomb, call 911 written on it before threatening to blow up the store. In the bag, however, was a smoke detector. I was sentenced to 1 year in prison. Am I Crystal or am I Charlene, gentlemen?
Oh,
Crystal.
I'm going to go with... Yeah, I'm going to go with Crystal as well.
Why is that?
I'm going with Crystal because she's disappointed that she's been named after crystal meth. So she's taking it out on the world.
That's the type of thinking that we love here on the Mugshot Guessing Game. Robbo, Rob, what are we thinking?
I'm going for the same one. Whatever that girl's name, Charlene.
Is it Crystal?
Crystal.
Will it be a hat trick?
Yeah, can I see the graphic again, please, Amanda? I'm going to go for Charlene, and I'll tell you why, because I think she was on some kind of drug, judging by that photo, and she did this when she wasn't in her right head, hence the reduced sentence.
Guys, prepare yourselves to be blown away. It was Crystal that got arrested. Guys, Charlene, though, Charlene, however, was arrested for pouring hot grease on someone she was having an argument with. Charlene, you're crazy. Guys, question number 4. We're gonna wrap this up pretty soon with 2 left. We have Sean up against Kistel. That's right, I said Kistel. It's like Crystal, but a bit more methy. Guys, listen very closely. I was arrested for walking around Vegas holding an axe and, according to witnesses, screaming and yelling at the top of my lungs that I was going to kill everybody. Oh my. I've previously been arrested for drug possession. According to my Facebook page, I like Mexican food and playing dress-ups. Who am I, Sean or Kistel?
Yeah, I want to go Kistel as well. I mean, she looks a bit like Kath Day Knight, but on a, after a big night.
All right, just because I'm behind, I'm going to use the strategy of going against you two, and I'm going for Sean.
Okay, here we go.
Shawnee boy. Alrighty, guys, the answer is it was Kistel.
Oh my God,
But
McKnight's got no chance of winning. Duck him for his question
But guys,
next time.
don't worry about poor old Sean. He was arrested for making threats of violence and death against the FBI.
Who'd have thought?
Sean! And guys, this is the final round. Whoever wins this wins the whole thing. That's how we do it here on the Mugshot Guessing Game.
Also, I'm still in with a chance, baby.
Listen very closely, gentlemen. It's Kevin against Riley in the final round of the Mugshot Guessing Game. Now, listen closely. I was arrested for chasing joggers along a hiking path with a very large knife. Turns out the knife was one of those folding tree trimming knives. I was briefly on the run, but police got me after responding to reports of a man yelling and banging on things. Am I Kevin or am I Riley? Gentlemen, guess away.
I'm going to go Riley. I'll go Riley. Lock Riley in. We'll lock him up for sure if he's done the crime.
I'm going to go Kevin.
Ooh, okay.
Kevin for me.
I think this is a toss-up, but I feel like Ben is.
I think they're both
down
tosses
with...
to have, you ask me.
Well, I think Ben's down with the criminal element. He's doing very well, so I'm going to go with Riley.
Guys, brace yourselves to hear who it is. It was Riley!
Yay! Ben, I think you win this. You know your criminals.
I know my criminals.
Congratulations.
You know, like, I must admit, Bruno, one thing about me is I always like flawed people. Like, flawed people are people I'm drawn to. So, and I read people quite well. So, am I still talking? But I'm glad I won, and thank you for coming.
And from all of us here at the Mugshot Guessing Game, have a good afternoon and keep out of trouble.
Thank you, Bruno. Bruno Boucher, we will see you next week. Thank you, my friend.
Bye, guys.
He's a crazy person.
I love him.
Oh,
I
Alana,
love him.
are you just a little bit thankful you weren't part of that?
Yes, I think there's going to be a few crims coming for you guys. I was glad to be out of it. Certainly not a guessing game for kids, that one.
The feedback has been hilarious to this. Everyone seems to be liking it, but I think Bruno's got a new game show. Networks, you all need some content. Bruno's your man. All right, the Channel 7 Upfronts were just finishing when we started the show. We heard the very exciting news that Australian Idol is coming back. But Ben, with a hit of entertainment, what else can you tell us about Channel 7's big announcements?
Well, Rob, we finally got to see the Sevens Upfronts. They were the last in the long list of channels that were doing their Upfronts, and we got to see a sneak peek of something we've been talking about a lot, which is Holy Moly, which looks larger than life. Of course, Sonia Kruger is hosting that with the American host, which is Rob Riggle. Now, we got to see a little clip of him. He was hilarious. That's coming straight from the US version. It's going to be a really big show. But then also, this is exciting, Big Brother is back for its second season, and we have been speaking about this a lot. It's got a brand new look. We saw a sneak preview of that with Sonia, with what seems to be a really multifaceted and layered house. I'll have more about Big Brother, which is going to be coming up in entertainment a little bit in a little bit later. But I will say one thing, and that is Sonia Kruger literally owned this segment, and the house is like something we've never seen in Australia before. So, definitely really excited for the new Big Brother, and really excited. It looks like Sonia's come into her own after what? Is this her 5th season of hosting the show in the country? Anyway, a new show is coming, which looks very intense as well. This is this is going to be produced by the executive producer Keely, who was supposed to be doing Survivor for a different network, but she's actually doing Ultimate Tag. The premise is a regular, game of tag, essentially, but it's like it's on steroids because you get to see them doing all kinds of crazy backflips and stunts. It's kind of like Ninja Warrior if you'd had like a monster drink beforehand, or a V, or a Powerball, or whatever it's called. Anyway, it looks absolutely phenomenal. I would never do that because I would end up in hospital. And I just want to quickly say, hopefully Denise Drysdale's not a part of that one either, because I don't think she's up for it. It looks really good. And look, there's new Aussie drama. There's the Royal Flying Doctor Service, which is coming. There's also Aussie names like Stephen Peacock, Rob Collins, Emma Hamilton. It's centered around a real-life story, and that certainly is going to be one to watch. And thank God we're getting some Aussie drama, because that's what I think a lot of us are craving. And then, of course, you got some favourites coming back with Farmer Wants a Wife, Australia's Got Talent, SAS, which, you know, is doing really well in the ratings at the moment. I wonder if Chappelle Corby will go back to jail and come out again so that she's got more relevance for SAS next year. That'd be fun. But look, it's all looking really good for Seven, and I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
You know, it was a very fantastic presentation, the best presentation out of all the commercial networks, I have to say. But there was this one moment with Sonia Kruger I really enjoyed, Ben. Let's take a look how she absolutely owned this reel.
Tell Big Brother, would you ever sit in any other chair?
BB, you know everything.
You have no idea.
The Voice is back, where it belongs, on whichever network I'm currently working at.
I love that kind of stuff.
That's great.
That's brilliant.
Everything. Can I just say, I mean, I did watch that before. I feel bad for not laughing there, but every joke that Sonia had landed, and I just thought, how strange was it, though, to see that they were so trepidatious about doing a Big Brother, and the Upfronts was literally owned by the premise. They kept coming back to it again and again. They're saying that it's celebrated. And look, a little bit of cheeky information there is that they had only signed to do 2 seasons, but I'm going to say, after watching that, I reckon they're going to pick it up for a few more.
And it was also interesting, Ben, that's good mail. It was also interesting to see how there appears to be some kind of basement and some stuff happening in the roof of the Big Brother house, a secret room for sure, at least.
Yeah, exactly right, Rob. And you know what? I thought weird things were happening in my roof, and I had no idea compared to what's going to happen in the Big Brother roof. Very similar themes. I've got no idea because I've never been up there and I haven't seen what was inside that roof. But I love the staircase there. And also, I will say, production of that did start filming on Monday night. So filming is on the way. Housemates are being revealed.
Have some photos? Don't you have some photos, Ben, of what happened last night?
Well, on Monday night, 9 housemates went into the Big Brother house in New South Wales. Former housemates Marissa and Alan were there. They were in the audience cheering them on. One of the things we've been talking about is the premise of celebrities versus civilians. Now, I will tell you this, that is not necessarily the case. Now, these celebrities have a small amount of notoriety, and not all of them have notoriety, but some of them do. We just got to see some shots then of 3 of the housemates. That's believed to be Chris and Flexi, I'm going to say. Flexi is her star name. She's got over like 100,000 followers on her social media. She's been a host on MTV. But look, Big Brother is back in a big way. Channel 7 is 100% owning it. Her name is DJ Flexi Mammy. Let me tell you, that's the full name. And I think it's going to be good. Alana, you stopped watching last year, Big Brother, but can I quickly ask you, are you excited to come back and give it another shot after seeing what you just saw?
Anything with Sonia, you know I'm their huge Sonia fan. Massive, so I'm definitely watching.
Well, Ben, the countdown has hit 0. We need to hand over to our good friends at Ticker. Alana, you have been absolutely fantastic. We genuinely do love having you on the show. Thanks for stopping by again.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow with Tipsy Thursday. Is it Thursday tomorrow? Yeah, great. Tipsy Thursday.
Well, I'm actually going. Rob, I'm going to go and have a drink with Alana right now.
Oh, good on you. Well, I'll join you. Oh, I can't. Oh, no.
Okay, you can't.
It's a Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo.